Hey everybody, Sarah at Nova Motorcycles again. This week we're talking Honda Goldwings. This is a 1976 GL1000, which is the first generation of Goldwing. Most times when people think of Goldwings, you think of the modern ones are 1800 cc's, six-cylinder motorcycles, just covered in plastic, fairing in the front, bags in the back. It's all integral. But the original Goldwing, GL1000, was a naked bike. This fairing here is an add-on. The GL1000 actually was developed as a counter to the Kawasaki Z1, which we did a piece on last week, and it was meant to be a super bike. It became really popular as a touring bike. It wasn't quite as fast in the 0 to 60 quarter-mile territory. So it became really popular with touring bikes, and a company called Windjammer, made by a company called Vetter, made fairings like this for touring bikes, and people started to slap these things on in the 70s on these naked bikes, and suddenly you have a bike that starts to look a little bit like the modern Goldwing. So this is a really period correct, mid 70s, 1976 bike. This is something that somebody who had a little bit of money and wanted to go far, this is what they would have been buying in the mid 70s, as opposed to, competition of its time was probably the big Kawasaki 4s, although those were really more sporty, and big Harleys, which at that point were made by AMF, not very reliable, very leaky, and very outdated. Talking shovel heads from the mid 70s. They're fine, but not as reliable as this. The Goldwing is almost like a little car. People have actually been known to put Subaru motors in them as cool little upgrades, because like a Subaru, it's a flat 4-cylinder water-cooled engine, 1000 cc to start. They soon, early 80s, or maybe it might have been 79, went to an 1100, and went to the 1200, and then jumped up to the 6-cylinder motor, still a flat 4, with a 1500, and then went to 1800. And I don't really keep up with Goldwings. They might even be up at 2000 or more cc now on the modern ones. But like a car, it has a shaft drive. So it's, much like a Guzzi or a BMW, also great touring bikes, very low maintenance. You just change the rear final drive oil every few years or 20,000 miles or whenever you get to it. And they pretty much go forever. No chains to adjust, no chains to get rusty. Now you don't have to worry about rain, salt, any of that stuff. And sort of new for its time, it was liquid cooled. Most of the bikes at that time were air cooled. The Guzzis and BMWs stayed air cooled until much later, talking almost 30 years after, 20 years after this. So it was like Honda, it was a big jump ahead in technology, and really changed the game. Sort of like the CB750 did for superbikes in 1969, the GL1000, really changed the touring game, and you'll see that bikes started to look like this after that. Harley came out with their own baggers, Kawasaki came out with their own baggers, Yamaha came out with their own baggers, and just the big touring bike was born. But it started off as a humble, well, not really humble, but a more humble bike, a super bike wannabe, which didn't quite make it as a super bike, but turned into the seminal tourer. So they're pretty cool. They can still be had for somewhat cheap, although the first models are getting up there in value because they're sweet gems. So if you ever get a chance to ride one, highly recommend. Please like and subscribe as usual, and thanks for watching.